Hi again, welcome to our condition of the week, and this week's condition is tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis. My claim to fame is that I've been a tennis player for most of my life, since I was about 8 years of age. So I have seen tennis elbows throughout my career, as well as for probably the 35 years that I've been in practice. It's important to understand what the injury is. So the tennis elbow was actually a straining of the insertion of the forearm muscles at the elbow, where it inserts into what's called the epicondyle. So these forearm muscles actually work your wrist. So in tennis, they will get strained, these muscles will get strained at the insertion here because of off-center hits if you're not hitting the sweet spot on the racket, or from the follow-through. When you're serving, the follow-through of the heavy racket can often cause a strain of that insertion. The opposite of this actually is golfer's elbow. On the inside of the elbow is another epicondyle where the muscles on the inside of the forearm insert. Golfers will develop the same kind of a strain, and it's because of the hitting the ground. If they're hitting, consistently hitting and taking too much divot, putting a strain on there, it can cause the stress on that insertion there. Now, what we do as chiropractors, one of the unique things that I do, and I think over the 35 years of practice, I've very rarely seen someone with a tennis elbow that didn't have issues in the lower part of their neck. Because when you think about it, if you're playing tennis regularly, those muscles should be getting stronger and stronger, shouldn't they? But very often, the muscle is weakening because of the strain in the lower part of the neck. This is where the nerves that innervate these forearm muscles come from. And if you've watched some of my earlier videos, you understand that only 1/9 of what the nerve does is pain. When you get pressure on a nerve, it can 8/9 of what the nerve does is control sensation, reflexes, strength, and organ function. So one of the first things lost when you get pressure on a nerve is the strength. So if you get into subluxations or misalignment in the lower part of the neck, or if there's degenerative changes starting to occur as people get into their late 30s, early 40s, then you start to get weakening of these arm muscles. So it's easier for those muscles to get strained, that forearm muscle to get strained when you're out doing your tennis activities. And often you can work out here all you want, but until you get the power turned on back up in the neck and get that muscle strengthening again, you're going to continue to strain that forearm insertion. Now, the other thing that we often get people to do is use what's called an elbow band. So Kathy, can you come in here? Then I just want to go through how the elbow band works then. So understand that what we're trying to do is take the force off of the insertion of the muscle. So the elbow band does not go on right over top of the epicondyle, but it goes onto the fatter part of the muscle just in front of that. Now I want you to make a fist, Kathy. You can see as she makes a fist, there's a lot of pressure out against my hands. Now relax, or if you do this at home, right? Now when you relax, there's no pressure again. So that's the idea. The band should be, and it's the same thing with golfer's elbow. Put the band just slightly ahead of the epicondyle, dissipate the force. It's not a total protection, thanks Kath. It's not a total protection, but it does give that muscle a chance to recover, and it allows you to keep playing so you don't have to stop. The other things that we do, understand that there has been some tearing or damage to the insertion, the ligament and the tendon in that area, I'm sorry. And so when you get a tearing of the muscle or the tendon, it starts off being nice parallel fibers before it's damaged, and then as it's damaged, it kind of gets into a mishmash of fibers there. It's like a scar tissue, which is very inelastic and it's very weak compared to the original tissue. So it's much easier to strain the area if you have that adhesions and scar tissue in there. So it's important to get into the area and kind of do what's called cross fiber friction and break up the adhesions in the scar tissue and allow it to re-heal with the nice parallel fibers. You may want to do some icing too after that's done, or even initially you may want to use the ice to actually speed the healing, and that will all help with you being able to keep on playing the tennis without the big interruption. Because if it gets too severe, you are going to have to rest. You're going to have to take a few months off and allow this to heal up. All right, I hope this has been beneficial for you again. I hope to see you again when we do our next condition of the week. As usual, please share this with your family and friends on your social network, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks very much for watching.